Okay, this is for Algebra 1, Lesson 31B. And this is what I told the kids. You need to remember, if this is a fractional exponent, whatever is in the denominator, that tells you what root it is, okay? So let me just show you what I mean. I would write this as the fifth root of 32 squared. Now, you could put the 2 inside here, this 2 right here. You could take 32 squared, but that's a huge number, okay? And I wouldn't want to mess with 32 squared. That means 32 times 32, big number. And I'm trying to do as much of this mentally without my calculator as I can. Now in class, I made the kids write down a whole list, hopefully they did, of things like I told them, you know 2 squared is 4. We went all over this. We know 2 cubed is 8. And we know 2 to the 4th is 16, and 2 to the 5th is 32. We did quite a few of those, and we also did it for 3. What does this mean? Okay, this means that the square root of 4, and you don't see it, but there's a little 2 right there, is 2. Okay, let me see if I can clear that up just a little bit. What does this mean right here? How else could I write it? This is telling me that the cube root of 8, see that 3 right there? The cube root of 8 is 2. Why? Because 2 times 2 times 2, notice there's 3 of them, gives me 8. So this, I could write this as the fourth root of 16. Guess what? The fourth root of 16 is 2. Same thing here. The fifth root of 32, guess what, is 2. Why? Because this is saying, hey, what number when you multiply it times itself 5 times would give you 32? And the answer is just boring 2. So when I come back up here, I know that this is 2. So what I've got right here is 2, and it's still squared, so I'm going to end up with 4. Okay? Now let's look at number 2. Number 2 is actually, they try to make it really stinking hard, and it's kind of dumb. This is what they have. Well, good goodness, what is 3 over 1? 3 over 1 is just 3, so you're going to get 9 to the third, which hopefully you realize that means 9 times 9 times 9. I know that's 81, and 81 times 9, oh gosh, doing this while under pressure is killing me, but that would be, what, 729? So there you go, okay? Let's look at another one. Let's look at number 3. Number 3 says this, 81 to the 1/2. Okay, this is a fractional exponent. Can't reduce it like I did that one, unfortunately. But whatever is in the denominator of this fractional exponent tells me what root it is. So it's the square root of 81. Now typically you won't see that there since it's a 2. And then all of that is to the first power, which all I can say to that is la-di-da. That's not going to change anything. So what is the square root of 81? 9. So you're going to get 9 to the first, which is just 9. Okay, let's try another one. Let's try number 4. Number 4 looks like this, 625 to the 3/4. Okay, big number. But remember, whatever's in the denominator, that's what root I want to find. So I'm going to want to find the fourth root of this. So I'm going to look for this, the fourth root of 625 to the third. Okay, so you may not know this, but you might want to guess something. So obviously it's not 2, because 2 to the 4th is 16. Okay, let's try 3. I mean, it's not going to be 3, but let's try it. That means this, 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Well, I know that's 9, and I know that's 9, and 9 times 9, well, gosh, that's going to give me 81. So it's not 3. Let's try 4. What's 4 to the 4th? Well, that means this. Okay, 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4, oh gosh, is what, 64, I believe, times 4, 24, 25. And they've got calculators, gosh, they can use them. So that's 256. So it's not that, okay? So let's try 5. What's 5 to the 4th? Remember, that means this. And by the way, that gives me 25 times 25, which, hey, what do you know, is 625. And you might have been able to guess that one. But right here, the fourth root of this is 5. So I'm going to have 5. It's still to the third power, which means 5 times 5 times 5. You don't need to show this step, but that's what it means. 25 times 5 is 125. I do want to see this step and this step, okay? Now, let me see if I can find one that's a little more interesting. Look at number 7. And again, I am still on 31B, number 7, and it looks like this. Okay, remember when you multiply and you have the same base, you can add your exponents. So this would give me y to the 10th, okay? And then when you have these two exponents, notice they're written right beside each other. Basically, it's like an exponent raised to an exponent. You can multiply these. So notice you're going to get 10 times 1, or 10 over 5. So this is what you've got, 10 over 5. Which, by the way, if you reduce that, that's y squared. That's all you can do with that one. We don't know what y is, so we're done. Okay, I'm going to skip and see if I can't find one that's a little bit more interesting. Sorry, just kind of thinking, trying to see which one looks the grossest. How about number 13? 13 looks kind of ugly. We have this y to the 1/2 times, y to the 3/4, all of that to the 4 over 1. Okay, same base, we're multiplying, so we can add our exponents. Now, you can use a calculator if you have problems adding fractions, but basically we're going to want to add 1/2 and 3/4. So I'm going to do it down here. So enter that either in your calculator, or, you know, notice when you add you have to have a common denominator, so that's going to give me 2/4 plus 3/4, which is 5/4. So right here, this gives me y to the 5/4. All of that is still to the 4 over 1. Remember, when you have these exponents written right beside each other, like this, way up here in the sky, you can combine those by multiplying. So, don't make this hard. You got 5 times 4, that's 20, over 4 times 1, which is 4. That gives me y to the 5th. And by the way, you could simplify right here. Do you see how those 4's would cancel because they're on the diagonal, and you get 5 over 1? Which is 5. That's fine. That's honestly the way I would do it. But some people have problems simplifying right there at the beginning. Okay, that's how you're going to do all of these right here. I can do one more. 15 looks rather tricky as well. We have x to the 4th, to the 3/5, to the 1/6. All right. Well, they're just exponents. There's only one base. There's exponents, they're written right beside each other. So remember, that means you can multiply. Multiply them all at once if you want. But do these first two if you want first. That's going to give you what? 12. 4 times 3 is 12 over 5. All of that. By the way, parentheses are the same thing as brackets. It's just a way so they don't get crowded. Okay, so now you multiply these together. So I would get like 12 over, 30? But you know what? I'm going to go ahead and simplify now. I know 6 goes into 6 once, and I know 6 goes into 12 twice. So this way, I'm left with 2 over 5. And that's fine. You can leave it like that. If you check in the back of the book, remember, this means the 5th root of x, so they may be writing it like this, squared. You could write it like that, okay? You could also write it like this, the 5th root of x squared. It doesn't matter where you put this to. All of these answers mean the same thing. Have fun.